Hello, so today I'm going to be answering some questions. So I made a community post for questions for this Q&A video, so let's get right into it. So a lot of the questions are roughly around how I became a dev on PTFS. So let's sort of have a bit of a timeline. Back in February 2019, group helper applications were open. And it was very easy to become a group helper back then. I literally just had to message Orange and he said, sure. So I became a group helper. Quick interruption, generic % not subscribed, so subscribe thanks. Then on to becoming a moderator. So that was definitely around some point in April 2019, so just a couple of months after I became group helper. I don't know the exact date as there's not a log of it, so the work wasn't too different. I still did the rank ups on the group board and things like that. I think I did more stuff in the Discord. So by June 2019, I'd helped with a few smaller projects, but back then I was only experienced in coding languages like Python and JavaScript and things like that. Lua was very new to me. But after doing some relatively larger projects for PTFS, I actually got my own rank in the group, called Secondary Game Coder back then. The other dev ranks being of course Orange's rank, Creator and Game Coder, Coder QWERTY's rank. So a lot of people think the PTFS dev team is really large. It's actually just 3 of us. So once I had my own rank, this was mainly used for testing permissions and things like that. It was very useful, and I still have it to this day. Since then, the projects that I've been working on have been much bigger and a lot more enjoyable. Okay, so now on to what my name is. So I started doing YouTube back in 2015, and back then my channel was called Sammy Sage Tutorials for Everything, as I planned to make tutorials for random stuff. Then I put my Minecraft account as Sammy Sage TFE to shorten it, and then I realised that I was actually known by that name. So then I changed my YouTube name to Sammy Sage TFE, and every other platform that I was on I became Sammy Sage TFE. So I won't be answering questions about will this be added to PTFS and things like that, as I don't decide what's added. So I'm going to be more focusing on general questions about PTFS or my channel. So 2 questions here. Number 1, what is my favourite airport in PTFS? And to be honest, I don't really have a favourite airport, but 2 that I'm really a massive fan of are Henstridge Airfield and RAF Scampton. So the work that I really enjoy doing is where it's not just me on my own being bored and coding for like 6 hours at once. I like it when I code something, we then implement it and then see how it goes, and then we go back to the drawing board if it doesn't work. So if I was an in real life airline pilot, what airline and what plane would I like to fly? So I would like to probably fly smaller aircraft such as A320s or maybe A319s, things like that. For airlines such as Easyjet, because they're short haul and you don't have to go too far, it's small trips, so you won't be too bored if you're like cruising for 8 hours or even longer possibly. So something like that would be nice. So the next question is, how old am I? Well, I'm actually -3. Not many people have negative ages, so I am a bit different there. The next question is, why do I like the Vulcan so much? Well, here's a few of the reasons. So the hardest part about being a Roblox developer is probably the pressure from other players. For example, if I just join a game to mess around or have fun, I'll often have at least 4 or 5 people join me off my profile, and then they'll get in my plane, and if I'm just testing or something, they'll be like, you must butter this landing and things like that. It's not a massive issue, but it is pretty annoying sometimes. So when did I start to play Roblox? Well, I made my first account back in 2012, then I forgot the password so I made a new one, but then after I found it I realised that I couldn't transfer all my Robux and stuff over, so I now have an account that was created in 2016. But now what is my alt was created back in 2012, so I've got some progress on some pretty old games there. So, could aviation possibly be my dreams in the future? Well, actually, I'm pleased to announce that I've actually started flying lessons. So, I did my first lesson a couple of days ago. Very fun, in a Cessna 152. Had a really good go at banking it around and stuff. Very fun, and yeah, I plan to hopefully get a private pilot's license. So Ryanair or Easyjet? Well, obviously it's got to be Ryanair, and I use action with an exclamation mark to record. So is it hard to be a coder in PTFS? Well, it really depends what's being worked on. So something like the first person camera, that was very difficult. But say something like cruise mode or altitude hold, very big feature, but really doesn't take that long to do. Sometimes you work really hard on minor features, and sometimes you don't have to spend that long for really quite big features. So how long do you work for an update? Well, it really depends what's actually being added. Say we've done at least 4 or 5 features or something like that, and the next feature will probably take quite a while. What we might do is just publish those 4 or 5 features as an update and then work on that one ready for the next update. So when did I learn to code and how long have you been coding for? Well, that's basically the same question. So I started coding back in 2015 and I was pretty young then. So I only did stuff like Scratch and Python, but then knowing Python really helped me learn Lua, and I didn't have to watch any tutorial videos and stuff like that because of that. I just looked at example work and I realised, even though it's set out pretty differently, all of the knowledge and the theory sort of side of things from any coding language can really help you learn another one. So do I like SFS? Well, yeah, I think it's a great game. I actually found SFS before I found PTFS. So I wasn't with PTFS from the very start. I actually came in quite late when PTFS was already a very well established game. So without me, PTFS would still definitely be here and it would still be a very popular game. So after I played SFS, I then found PTFS and then I started playing PTFS, and that's when I applied to become a group helper and things like that. Yeah, so this guy's right, you guys are all stupid. Sorry about that, and I am in fact not a dev. I deeply regret to inform you of such tragic events. So although there were hundreds of questions, the majority of them were, will this be coming to PTFS and things like that. So I didn't get to answer too many, but I answered quite a few in this video. As always, if you have any important questions and things like that, you can join my Discord and send me a message. But that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.